Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to a cool evening outside and a warm evening in here. So let's settle in with our meditation. So having arrived physically, using this time now to arrive mentally, emotionally, spiritually into the present moment. Having established our comfortable sitting position, aligning our body with some degree of symmetry, balance, poise, helping to enable some inner mindful presence. Using this time to relax, release, let go of the happenings of the day, the happenings of the week so far. Moving the mind away from the ways of the world, the issues and concerns of self, and even giving our mind permission to not take up the activity of thinking, allowing the possibility of calm, mindful knowing in the present. Know now and think later. Being present to that which is present, particularly each soothing, therapeutic breath. But before focusing attention in on our breath, our reference point of the present moment, firstly relaxing our awareness down into our body, reminding to rebody ourselves, that sense of the physical experience of the body, feeling grounded, settled, centered, present. Some mindful attention to the physical posture of sitting, some contact sensations, feet connecting with the floor. Feeling the body connecting with the chair or the cushion or meditation stool. Sensing the placement of our hands and fingers, making sure they feel comfortable, adjusting them if we need to. Bringing awareness up further to our face, noticing our face, even feeling maybe air against our face. Noticing subtle light coming in through the closed eyelids. And even looking into that lightness, brightness, blankness through the closed eyelids. Disengaging from being distracted by any background sounds. And choosing to not get caught up into the internal, mental sight or sound of thoughts. Rather using our mind to focus, mindful attention in the present, especially by noticing each soothing therapeutic breath, each life-giving breath, helping to calm, collect, focus, and feel into the present through each breath, especially if we feel the breath at the nose or nostril area or wherever you feel it the most. Developing this calm attention, leading to inner peace and presence. Please help yourself to some tea and biscuits. Clint, can you maybe turn the urn all the way down when you get there? Can you tell who they are? How are we feeling this evening? Okay.
Nice and warm.
Well, warmth is a sensation. The warmth might make us feel good. A question: have we ever wondered what is the main emotion, sort of feeling, mood that we might generally have in the day? Generally, which may also then flow on into the week or weeks, which even could become sort of general feel or emotion, mood that we have in our ongoing day-to-day life. Have you ever sort of considered, wondered what that is, or noticed what it is? Certainly, being mindful is to notice it, but generally we'll only notice it when we're particularly distressed, upset. If it's out of the norm, but if there's a normal mood or mode of feeling unease, then after a while one doesn't even notice it, which is unfortunate. I think it can be good to check in on that, because what we feel, how we feel, the emotions that we are emoting, engaging, relating to life from, which also then become part of the emotional landscape or moodscape that we're living from, become quite important, sort of like the energetic resonance of how we are living and interfacing life. Probably because we're all here tonight, we're meditators, so it's probably all generally a good feel. But at the same time, good to be aware of this as part of our experience, especially if we also experience other people's maybe upsetting, distressing, unpleasant, unfavorable feel or emotion or mood. But significant, especially because the two most important assets of our life, anyone know what they are? Two most important assets of your life.
Health and happiness.
Health and happiness. Yeah.
Breathing.
Breathing.
The mind.
The mind. We could say all of the above, but for our discussion this evening, the two most important assets of our life, which certainly results in happiness and health and breathing and the mind and so forth, are time and energy. Life is just time and energy. Energy manifesting through time. Energy manifesting as physicality, physical energy, emotional, felt energy, feeling energy, and thought, thinking energy, mind energy, the energy to breathe. So time and energy. But sadly, we can easily take those two important assets for granted and appreciate or think, oh, well, there's plenty of time, plenty of energy, until we find that for whatever reason, there is less time, running out of time, or less energy, low energy, no energy. And time and energy, they are limited things. They don't last forever. They are finite, and yet life requires those. You could even say that the quality of our life does relate to how we are using, how we are spending time and energy. And we could even say that time and energy are more important than even money. One can have plenty of money or even assets and things, but if there's no time left, life's ending, or no energy left, then that's not good. It's like, well, we then very much appreciate the importance of time and energy for having quality of life. So it becomes important. Yes, we speak about time management, but also energy management as well. As a side point, a lot of health issues relate to the imbalance of energy. So for optimal well-being, health, we need to have optimum energy. Too much energy, too much heat, too much tension can cause health issues. Too little energy can cause health issues. And along these lines, a traditional medicine, in the sense of either Ayurvedic medicine, the traditional medicine of India, or TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, they both use this appreciation of energy manifesting in the body, mentally, physically, emotionally, and illness, for diagnosis of illness, too much energy, too much heat, or not enough heat, to help balance out. And that's through food and through massage, acupuncture, acupressure, chakras, meridians, and so forth. So that sense of energy. So energies are quite important, but again, to check in, mindfulness of how we are using and expending energy, and particularly this evening, reflecting upon that element of feeling, emotions, mood, connection, emoting out, so that we emote and feel out with positive, pleasant, meaningful, worthwhile feelings and qualities, as opposed to the opposite ones. You know, a lot of people, their whole interface with experience is with fear and frustration, grief or guilt, doubt or depression, anger or anxiety, and that becomes their general way of being, and certainly not healthy for them or for others, or even for things that they're interfacing with. So the Buddha gave us a really good template for relating to experience in general, but particularly to others, other people, other beings, other creatures, even plants, and also to inanimate things as well. And these are called the Brahma Vihara. So the Pali words Brahma Vihara, Brahma translating as divine or spiritual, and Vihara as abode or abiding. So spiritual abidings, spiritual abodes, abiding in, abiding from. As a sort of more of a colloquial translation, I tend to translate it as spiritual emotions. So the 4 spiritual emotions, a template of 4 ways of interfacing experience that in many ways are all that we need. And certainly meditation practice is developing these individually, these individual 4, but also just generally by being more mindful, more wise, more conscious, we'll start to relate, interface from these generally. So you probably have heard or know about these from, certainly from myself mentioning them in the past, and other talks you might have heard, listened to, readings, the 4 Brahma Vihara, or the 4 spiritual emotions. And they provide a wise and very healthy alliance for relating and engaging experience in a way that is empowering. These 4 are, and they're on the chart at the front here. The first one is metta, which translates generally as loving kindness, but I tend to prefer the translation of care or kindness, friendliness. So a friendliness, a kindness, a care in relating to others, relating to ourselves, relating to creatures, and even relating to things. You know, treating things with kindness and care. And the more we do so, those things will display being looked after, as opposed to not looked after, not cared for. And metta is the general sort of modus operandi, sort of general way of relating to experience with kindness, with care, with the friendliness. The second one is a modification of the metta, more for specific situations, karuna. Karuna translates as compassion, so a sense of caring concern for others, particularly when others are in pain, misfortune, distress. So having compassion for them. Compassion, passion, feeling, meaning with, to feel for and with others. The third one, mudita, which interesting, there's no real good translation for mudita in English, which is telling. Why don't we have more mudita? Generally translated as sympathetic joy, altruistic joy with and for others, appreciative joy. But there's no one word to translate mudita. It's something which it's a wonderful quality to have joy with and for others. So when others have good fortune, when others are happy, we're able to be happy for them, as opposed to resentful, jealous, envy, which that can be sometimes a response that comes up, which is counteracted with mudita. But I'm so happy for you. You deserve it. Well, that's great. That's wonderful. Yes, I've been playing lotto for the last 20 years and I've never won anything, but you've won so many $1 million, you know, and again. I'm so happy for you. So the fourth quality, upekkha is for particular situations again, and it's where things are difficult, challenging, people are going through difficult situations, rather than becoming overwhelmed and distressed because of what's going on, either out there or even with ourselves, pain in the body, illness, so forth. We have this calm composure. So equanimity is one word to translate upekkha, equanimity, to be equanimous, to have equipoise, equilibrium, a calm composure. So we could also translate all of these, again, going through the four, mindful and wise care, mindful and wise compassion, mindful and wise joy, mindful and wise calm. So bringing in sort of the mindful and wisdom aspect, which helps to make it more of a mature approach to relating to experience. But I wanted to sort of mention these four generally this evening because I thought over the next 4 weeks we can look into them in a bit more detail and understand them a bit more, maybe even do some meditations that relate to them, because they're really a wonderful balm for the mind-heart. And the more we can be mindful of them as qualities that we all have to some degree, but we can exercise and emphasize and engage them in our life, and particularly they are meaningful and healingful for ourselves, having these wonderful qualities, also for others that we're relating to, so other people, again, including animals, plants, and so forth. And also for the quality of relationship. The relationship is enabled and enhanced through these qualities. Also for the world at large. So the world needs more people to be engaging from these four: metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha. And again, this is a wonderful template that the Buddha has provided for us to engage our experience from. And that sense that we're abiding within, so it's like we're living within these four, resourcing and using them to connect with experience. And a particular element of this is important in the sense that what we think and how we feel, even into then how we speak and how we behave and engage, certainly affects our well-being, particularly our health. I was reflecting that there's a book that I've had for years now that I mention at this point. It's called The Molecules of Emotion by Candace Pert. She's a medical scientist and done a lot of research to do with emotions. And she and her research team found, this is like about 20 to 30 years ago now, they found that emotions are not just this type of mental, ethereal experience that people have, but there is a molecular, biological, biochemical foundation to emotions. And when they first found these biochemicals, they called them the molecules of emotion. They also called them neuropeptides because they first found in the brain. These neuropeptides they found move throughout the whole brain and body, and every cell of our body has receptor sites for these neuropeptides. So if we're feeling distress or anxiety, then these peptides move throughout the body and they affect the opening and closing of blood vessels, certain organs that are affected. And so that's why, what we think and what we feel, what the emotions that we have, dramatically and directly affects the physiology, the functioning, the health, the wellness of the body. Also, I was looking at a book today, which I've had on the shelf for some time. It's called The Sickening Mind. I forget who it was by, The Sickening Mind. It's got subtitled The Brain, the Mind, Health and Wellness. And again, pointed at the fact that what we think and feel does affect our health and well-being. And along these lines, a name I've mentioned before, Dr. Dean Ornish, a medical practitioner in America, his book, which is called Love and Survival, subtitled The Scientific Basis for the Healing Power of Intimacy, and which resources a large study that was done that found that people that lack positive emotional connection with others, people that feel lonely, disconnected, or even disconnected within a relationship, have 3 to 5 times higher incidences of illness and death from all causes than those that do have those loving, meaningful emotions and connections with people. And they found that people that had particularly heart disease, coronary heart disease, that often they had a disconnect, a lack of positive emotions, feelings, relationships in their life, and that by helping them to have support groups and connect in positive emotions, they're able to reverse heart disease. And another quote from the book says, more than reducing fatty diets, salt, alcohol, cigarettes, developing these healthy, healing, meaningful, connecting relationships was able to reverse heart disease. So a matter of the heart and what we feel becomes so important. Also, the research of Dr. Bruce Lipton, which has been remarkably put out there in several of his books, The Biology of Belief, what we think and what we feel, belief, does affect, again, the health and wellness of our body. And he says that it's not so much that genes affect the health of our body, but it's what we think that then actually affects the genes, turns on or turns off certain genes. So someone may have a gene for a certain illness that never gets turned on because they have healthy emotions, healthy thoughts, healthy connections. A brother or sister that has the same gene is in a situation where stress, fear, frustration, disappointment, grief, whatever, the gene gets turned on because of how they've been thinking and feeling, and then the illness manifests. So it becomes, again, really, really important to be mindful of what we're thinking and feeling for our health and well-being, as well as the sense of just having a meaningful, fulfilling, joyful life through connecting with others. And certainly the Buddha emphasized the importance of healthy relationships, particularly the idea of sangha, community, connecting, having spiritual connections and friendships. A lovely quote where the Buddha comes across a couple of monks, Venerable Nanda and another monk companion, and the 2 monks were sort of happy and delighting. The Buddha said, "What have you been speaking about?" Venerable Ananda says, "Well, we've concluded that friendship, companionship, having a friend in spiritual practice is half the worth of spiritual practice." The Buddha says, "Ananda, don't speak like that, because I say unto you, having connection and wholesome relationships in spiritual practice is the whole of the practice. That's how important it is." So over the next 4 weeks, we can look into these specific 4 qualities that include thoughts, mental states, feeling, emotions, speech, and behaviors for looking after our well-being, looking after our relationships, looking after our world. Next week, we'll look into metta in a more specific way. And I've pulled out my collection of chanting books, and we'll chant the verses, the Buddha's verses of the Karaniya Metta Sutta, the verses of loving kindness, metta, and look at those, as well as look at the 11 benefits the Buddha mentioned that come from practicing metta, loving kindness and friendliness. That'll be for next week. in the last few minutes, any questions or thoughts or reflections yourself around these four spiritual, sublime, divine emotions or attitudes that we have? Do we feel that we generally relate from these, sort of our usual sort of modus operandi, or maybe one in particular?
I think they're highly relevant. The problem is how we affect that change. And I know you say that mindfulness and meditation is the way to do that. I wonder if any other suggestions.
Even again, these four, there are particular meditations that one can do to bring these about. But I think also just knowing what they are, to go, okay, and also knowing what their opposites are, to go, well, I usually maybe get caught into a situation where I get frustrated and upset. So I'm going to use those situations to remind me and trigger me into kindness, into care, or maybe into compassion. So as a bit of a psychological CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, designing how you're going to relate better and interface better. And which can include even towards ourselves. People often get upset with themselves or their body because their body is sort of pain, or that damn knee, damn it, holding me back from getting out for surfing again, which I love, and sort of putting energy of anger and frustration into a part of the body. Why is the knee damaged? Well, I didn't look after it.
Yeah, I do have a question, John. Obviously, the benefits of connection is you can see it very clearly, and you see in other places in the Buddhist teachings where he obviously remarks on the value of seclusion, and I believe one of the symptoms or prerequisites of enlightenment is that you're completely independent from other people. You don't rely on anybody else. So how do we understand these two thoughts or teachings side by side, in that we obviously the Sangha is part of the Buddhist system as well, so that shows how much that connection is there. And at the same time, he's also teaching seclusion and being completely independent from others.
Yeah, so maybe it would be wise seclusion, and the Buddha actually, whilst would talk about and get people to go off on retreats, but only if they were able to feel happy within themselves. Otherwise, they probably go into loneliness and despair and depression. And so important to have these qualities strong enough so that one can be in seclusion. In a way, these are prerequisites for allowing the mind to become more calm and go deeper. If one's not feeling these, if one's caught up in frustration or irritation or jealousy or confusion, then even just in general life, if we're having relationships with people and the negative qualities come up, then it makes it difficult to calm and clear the mind in meditation. So important to have these, and also appreciating that whilst again the Buddha did talk about the importance of having seclusion, going away, being on retreat, but still being reliant on connecting with people. For monastics, daily alms round, and coming together once a fortnight for the recitation of the Patimokkha, the monastic rules, and also certainly the first 5 years of monastic life being dependent on a teacher, so like an apprenticeship for 5 years. So there's still that connection there. And even for the Buddha himself, fully enlightened Buddha, but still, yes, enjoying seclusion at times, but still connecting with people. Certainly the enlightened mind isn't dependent upon other people apart from for the physical needs. So it's developing these qualities moves us towards that ultimate independence. And the real seclusion is a seclusion of the mind in deep meditation.
something that I'm learning a bit about circadian biology at the moment. They really emphasize to balance out your system, you really need light and dark. You really need sunlight during the day and the darkness at night. And I guess it's 7 months, so you do need both hand in hand.
Yeah, for health and well-being. Everything sort of that polarity, the left and right side of the brain, and the whole yin and yang of things. Peter?
John, I've noticed over the years the Dalai Lama seems to emphasize compassion more than anything else in his talks. So much of what he says is around compassion. It seems to me that way.
Yeah, and certainly that the world needs more compassion. Compassion is a great connecting element. So not just that fundamental friendliness and care, but compassion, like a concern, a wise, mindful concern for the welfare of others. That's what also helps to generate wholesome qualities within oneself, and the motivation then to even do something about that. Where can I help? What can I do? How can I be helpful for others? And certainly the world needs more of that. We see that the challenges and the stresses and confusion of the world is increasing. So certainly that's a really important message for the Dalai Lama to get out there. He's certainly emphasized that, sort of like his theme, compassion, and that's wonderful, and certainly a great sort of element of spiritual practice to practice and emphasize that in one's life, again, individually towards oneself, one's own body, one's own mind, family, friends, community, and the larger sort of community of the world.
I think technology nowadays is a good example, as we're doing tonight, because you are basically connecting with people, and people are connecting with us. And that support, is a way of recognizing a human existence in a way, and just a very simple example of how we can actually share this goodness.
Yeah, because we don't live in isolation, so that all of us that have been here tonight, we go home. Some of you going home together, others going home to other people, or even just home to a pet, or seeing other people tomorrow. And so if we can share some of these qualities, metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha, then that's affecting a positive, healthy, benevolent energy into the world. And even certainly just with the video set up, so connecting with a few other people as well that can't be here because they live elsewhere, and so that sort of flowing on. And certainly, the fact that we're here, if there was no one here tonight except myself, probably wouldn't have a video set up to share with other people. So the fact that we're here is helping other people beyond even this space get benefit. So do give consideration to these 4 wonderful qualities and how you use them already, how you can emphasize, exercise, engage them more into your life, and have a mindful week. We'll connect next time into the quality of metta, kindness and care in a deeper way. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing.